There's a voice sound. I'll come to that in a minute. Yesterday, I was in bed with a hangover. So let's just get on with the date a minute. So it's the 11th of the 4th, 2025. There's two things that really pissed me off yesterday. There was over 800 loud bikes being timed to my penis shooting up, digging into my penis, to every single impulse, sexually excited penis, suffering for a fuck, sort of penis, shooting up, sort of, where you get that excited sexual, impulse in the tubes of the penis, or whatever you want to call it. And every time my penis shoots up, 8 times, 9 times, or ear-shattering loud bike, which is 10 times loud, unless I state it as ear-shattering, which is the loudest bike you can get. Right, so I'm getting a bit pissed off at that. It was all day. I was in bed, timed as I woke up to an erection, timed as if when I was shaving, timed to an erection. They have to time a loud bike. Right through the whole day. When I went to Aldi's, actually I went to the garage as well, I forgot about that. So when I went to Aldi's, basically it's bike up on bike being timed up to 9 times loud. Bikes and motorbikes. So you had that, and there's about 20 occurrences with the bike. A couple of people photographed me, and there was a couple of I wouldn't say threats as such, but awkward situations, which is mostly by the people that were photographing me. So anyway, walking back, I just had a social drink with P neighbour in the garden. I'm not going to say his name, not even his first name, because he's getting a little bit unhappy at the moment. Obviously it's not going to hurt putting his first name, as long as he doesn't have his surname or anything like that, because he could report it or something like that, if I put his surname on. But I'm just going to use the initial, because obviously, just in case he gets a bit offended by that. You shouldn't do, because it can mean anyone in the world, because there's billions of people with like that name, sort of. As if you put the surname, it becomes a problem. So yeah, it's alright. Had the first drink. I went back into my place. Felt a bit, a bit hangovery. And then I had a load of vodka after that, and a load of juice drinks, sugar free. After that. So later on, I asked him if he wanted anything at the garage. So I got 2 1-litre bottles of semi-skimmed milk. I thought he said 1, but obviously he said 2, and I didn't realise that. So I got 2 separate ones. When I got back, he didn't want them, so I kept them for myself. I prefer the red top, however I can drink the green top, so it's not a problem. So, and that's when he sort of had a conversation with me, complaining about videos I put on YouTube in the past, and I told him I sorted all that out when I got in trouble for it in the past, when it got reported, because he said that he got a bit funny about it. So I've never put anything on since that time, and all the previous stuff that was on there I've cleared up. Right, anyway, as far as the burning problem goes, yesterday it was very bad, but between about 1 PM and just before 4 PM there was a time period where that burning wasn't occurring too bad. There was a lot of banging at one stage as well, for about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half, of breaking in, Leicester Stadium, banging in that sort of way. Yeah, as far as animal voice sounds go, yesterday is one of the worstest animal voice sound days on record for the clarity and maliciousness of the content of information that's coming out. So seagulls, dog barks, crows, or whatever you want to call it, were making unusual noises, which is more unusual than normal, but the dog barks in particular are warped, and it's anything from you fucking raped girls, Justin, or you fucking go into the fire of hell, you're being ripped to pieces, you're being knifed down, Justin, you're having a break-in, you're having your life taken to fucking pieces. Quite literally like that, and telling me to fuck people who sexually abused me as a child, going ha ha ha, or doing it in a way where it's deliberate in that spiteful term. So in total, you had about 800 loud bikes timed to erections yesterday, and also you had about 700 animal voice sounds as well. So let's get on with today, shall we? So obviously the burning problem's bad, and obviously I've had to go out because of it. So I had a bit of a lie-in because the vodka is making me a lot more sleepy, but I will sort of get to grips on that. Maybe tonight will be the first night where I can fucking stop doing this. And also I'm smoking too many as well. Got like 25 fags yesterday. Obviously I know where you can get a pack of cheap fags, but it's got to stop. Anyway, not much has occurred this morning. You've had a couple of loud bikes, that's still been bad. So there's been about 200 today, and there's been about 100 animal voice sounds, and just as spiteful and just as corrupt as the fucking voice sound yesterday. So I go out, initially there's a loud bike, which is 9 times loud or 10 times loud, I can't remember, which is timed to an erection. Obviously I have to turn around because I forgot something. Went back, and this teenage girl says, "You're fucking sick," as I passed. So she was about 14, 15. At the time she passed me, she was also on a phone to her boyfriend, that specific woman. Right, I just had to let someone pass because they were jogging, so I got a bit confused on what I was going to say next. Right, so let's get back with the recording, shall we? Right, so the second time I went out, there was a black knife-shaped car timed, several yellow cars, black and blue, and some black and red cars. But initially, after the knife-shaped car in particular, there was 3 dark red, black, 4 more dark red, grey car, drains hit over, and then a pink sexual Zimmer frame on the path in my direction. After that I sneezed up twice. Then GSF van and Smith and Sons van. There was a couple of people that posed as if they were photographing me, but I don't know. Apart from that, it wasn't really too bad walking on that section. It's pretty much one of the quieter times for that specific part of the road. However, the traffic flow was packed. Walking over the bridge, obviously, there's more cars than usual, so there's about 70 in that couple of minutes I was walking over the bridge to the other side. And there was some colliding. The road goes completely quiet, unusually, in the time period I'm on the field climbing up to the next section. And as soon as I reach the area where I can see the traffic again, the traffic suddenly increases like it's controlled to happen. Just before that, there were 3 girls aged somewhere between 15 and 20 that said, "Sick, he looked." As I get back onto that section of the path, when I get onto the path, the woodland path, and looking down to the road, there's about 300 cars. So it's busier than usual, even though you had that several minute time gap where there was no cars at all while in the field, because you can hear when the cars go past regardless if you're on the field or there, and it just seemed to be controlled in a way where it went dead quiet in the time period I was on the field until basically timed as I reached the path. Anyway, grey car, I've written grey, hang on, yeah, so hang on, no, wait there, there's an ambulance time, and then a bike in the midst of that 300 cars. A grey car is then timed down the farm track. That's what I was going to say. I was just turning a page over, so I forgot to mention the ambulance. Right, so after that, at the catalytic converter hot point, as I call it or nickname it, there was a grey and a white car. A bird says "You're a pedo, Justin," and "dead meat." A crow says "pervert, Justin," and a crow says "shag da," D-A-H, and that takes you to where I am now. But the one thing that's really annoyed me is when I was in bed with a hangover, there was 3 really annoying things that pissed me off and that was the animal voice sounds or the threats, because they're telling the little girl to say Justin fucked me or stuff like that, you know, the neighbours at the back, which is not true. And also the voice sounds from the animals, and obviously the loud bike issue. Anyway, I'm in a quiet area now, but I still got to go to the spa shop today because I've got to get a few things for later, so I'll keep you updated on the rest of today's problems. Right, before I forget this, I just need to mention the t-shirt that's just occurred. The t-shirt has just said, "Your life is getting much worse, Mr. Beast." Right, so just before that, crow says child molester Justin, no one left, and a hen says you're being beat up, going to hell, and there's a few other corrupt animal voice sounds that have been occurring since the previous recording I did. Right, yellow car with light on my way, cell call, then there's a Lauren lookalike, pretty much identical looking, so obviously very sexual looking, how Lauren would have looked back in 2015-2016 area. The Lauren I'm on about is the same as that sun-cursed Lauren, the same as that painting, and the Lauren that works in Tesco's in Highbridge, who had a boyfriend called Mike and had 2 ginger-haired kids, and turned against me basically before I even got to know her. So she looked identical to that. Near enough. Take away the smooth skin slightly. But obviously she has smooth skin, but not as smooth as Lauren. Right, so a grey car, my way, 2 grey, 6 more black and blue grey, penis ups and motorbike, blue, yellow, black, fuck's sake, they're spreading like, for no fucking fuck's sake, it's all flying over there. Fuck's sake. Right, I'll get past there a minute, I've mentioned the rest of the problems. Right, penis up, this is at the roundabout, mind. So in total there's about 80 cars. Right, so penis shoots up, motorbike, but just before that, you had an express van, followed by that motorbike. Just do it, top. Hang on. Bike means Mike, van. Time to erection, another motorbike, then 6 more incidents of an 8 times loud bike, including motorbike my way. On the roadway you can have 45 minutes or an hour without any vehicles. After that you've got a cheer-in van, followed by a van, spelled Y-E-A-H. And this I've not seen for a long time. The Rub Nuts t-shirt. So that occurs next. Right, and then after that there's a rotted liver suggestion. An overhanging trailer trying to rip my legs off at the where I go to cross. At the roundabout, sorry. Then there's a roll van. Right, hang on. A tractor with a bucket with soil in my direction down the road where it could be 45 minutes to an hour without any traffic. Then a white van in my direction at speed, and then obviously the spreading that's taking place now on the field or whatever it is they're doing. Right, so there's been a black robbery looking timed. There's something else I want to mention, this burning problem. I've been out about an hour or so now, and usually in that time period you recover just a little bit, not much. Well, this is not giving, so obviously if it continues and I continue to feel ill, I might have to dial 111, because obviously there's usually some relief from it, but this is gripping on today, so just in case it's something serious I might have to call them later, but I'll give it another hour or so and see what it's like then. Right, so there's been a grey car. Learner car, that's a monster truck, not a motorbike. two started cars, a car reverses at me. As a van pulls up, sorry, and then a car pulls up. There's a van name as well, I've forgotten what it is. Right, so I just give myself a sore throat on one side, eating a roll, bit of roll's gone down, you know, different tube in the mouth. Right, so you got up the age van, adults van, a granny on a Zimmer frame timed, then 4 more grannies timed on a Zimmer frame, but in a way where it's angled at me. Drains hit over, red, blue, black, grey, white. Someone has an argument saying you're dead, paedophile, life lost. Bonus, a motorbike timed, orange sexual car with light on, my way. Another bike issue, motorbike that is. As I walk out the spa shop, motorbike timed to a stretch again. Then there's a sexy lady walking my way on a phone. Taken van. That's a van I've not seen for a long time. No how lorry. Dead paedophile needs attack said. Knife shaped pushchair my way. Sexual type of lady about 20 years of age pushing that pushchair. White car, teenage couple and an older person. Says pedo just. A grey, white, grey sexual car. White, grey, white. Cell call at me. A sexy blonde lady my way. A Stone Pits van and horse riders. Right, so you've had a Pete's van. Then you had a sexual looking lady in my direction. In actual fact, it looked very similar to Beck's. Obviously I can't give surnames or anything like that for legal reasons. But yeah, she does look very similar to the you know, Becky that works where I live at supported housing. So obviously this person didn't look at me, but after that there was a jogger my way. Again, a young lady. After that, dog barks, child molester just. Then there's a red and a blue car my way. The lady in the blue car says sick and gives me a really nasty look. She's aged somewhere between 20 and 25. Right, there's a grey car, and then after that there's a Lisa Pike look-alike, and then an orange gun-shaped car timed, the same one that I saw the day before yesterday, I think it is. Right, so they're stepping up all the traffic on the roadway, 45 minutes to an hour traffic in black and blue cars. So just before that there was a dark reddish purple type car timed, and obviously, like I said, for this time in the evening, because we're reaching the times of where it should be 45 minutes to 1 hour without a car if you go back to November of what before last year. And this is interesting because I do it every time I reach this road. And also in the just under 10-minute period that I was walking that field, there hasn't been a single car on this road until I reach it. Right, I don't need to pack the traffic to this extreme. There's just been about another 30 vehicles on that road where you can have 45 minutes to 1 hour without any vehicles at all, starting from this time in the evening if you go back to November of last year. Oh my god, this fucking problem. All the shit's fucking coming out, for fuck's sake. To stop me getting down there now. They're spreading, but the fucking road is a heap. I fucking photographed that. Quite literally, there's smoke everywhere, where And now that fucking car's got to come down here. Fucking great. They've already timed fucking, what, 40 cars nearly down here. And now I've got this. But the problem is there's shit all over the path, all over the road. And then I've got to let this car past with shit on the tyres that's going to be flying in my face. There's nothing you can do about it. The creator God's fucking buckled. Also, I'm soaking wet in sweat because it's hot. There we are. There's my point proven. In actual fact, there's no choice but to walk in that shit to get past. It's all fucking coming off the trailer. Right, got a new record-breaking amount of cars on this road. So I've had about 50 cars and I've not even got to the narrow part yet. The record-breaking number, if we go back 3 weeks or a month ago, is just under 10 cars, or around about 10 cars for every single time I've walked that road for that small section since, I don't know when it was, but since July last year, right up until just a month ago or something like that. Anyway, so you have black and blue, then you had about 60 more vehicles on the roundabout, same pattern mostly. Adjusting car, fuck's sake. We've already broken the record, as I said. So obviously Justin is my name. And after that, straight after, without any cars in between, there's a gun looking thing on the car roof, timed. Then grey white, sexual car, stone pits van, black white, gun down said, no learner car, company no. That's new, I think. And then you had the Crook and Sons van, which is occurring every time I come here. Every day I've been here. In the last 4 or 5 days, that Crook and Son van has been timed on this road. Right, so you've had a Beck's van, B-E-C-K-S. What was it? 2 grey cars. Choked by catalytic converter stench. That's on top of the cars I've already mentioned. And the No Chance van. And then I've just realised that there we are, next car. I just realised that oh god, that they're doing hedge trimming and fucking whatever in the graveyard. I don't want to go in. I guess even better, doesn't it? They got a bloody wedding in the church. Right, I don't know what I'm going to do here because I wanted to chill out here because this is where I don't. Fucking knife him. He fucking molested, I couldn't make out what it was. I've had to leave the cemetery. And now we've got a dark red American looking car that's kind of gun looking as well. And now white my way, so they're increasing traffic, increasing the setup for no fucking reason, just to be outright bastards, to be spiteful, nasty, menacing cunts, unless the creator's absolutely corrupt, cruelty cunt. So yeah, I can't. They got a wedding in the church. I am just going to see whether it's I'm going to walk in because I'm not in a very good mood. Not going to disturb the peace. I'm just going to have a look. I walked in, but I was told to leave because I'm not part of the congregation of you know, who's getting married. I did get a glimpse, and it looks like it's a teenage couple getting married. Obviously I wasn't there long enough to see any details of the face. All I noticed is like a blonde lady and a young chap, but not a rough type. Anyway, same again basically as I reached the road as what happened initially. So you had a white car and a red car, and then obviously grey sexual car. Dog part barks, sick cunt, crafty bastard. Right, so I need to get this out of the way first. before I mention the setups. I'm just going to leave it on record and try and fucking hell. They've made this road fucking packed as well. I'm getting pissed off now because obviously I've only just got out of the area of where there's, you know, away from all this. You know, because they just signed another 30 vehicles on this road. Fucking hell. Anyway, a crow's been saying, nobody left, you fucker. A bird tweets, shot down and molested Sadie. The other thing that has been said by animals, these flying creatures, is you're being sexually molested as a child in your next life. So it just goes on and goes on and goes on. It's like the creator's just being a nice, nasty bastard at the moment, you know, with all this shit. So let me get on with the fucking setups. Right, so I made it to the the path where Jack the Treacle Eater is. And I have actually had to sit down for 10 minutes, but initially I couldn't sit down for 10 minutes because there was somebody sitting there. So yeah, the setups on the road, before I got to where I stopped the last recording, you had the Pete's van, then you had a couple of cars in an awkward pattern, so I couldn't get past or whatever, and cars just pissing about there. After that I saw the lady that wears the t-shirt that says, "It's your lucky night," and where it has "no sex" written on the back of the t-shirt. Obviously today she's not wearing that t-shirt, she's just got a bright white t-shirt on, or vest or whatever it is. After that you had the Beck's van, the BECKS. A couple of more cars in an awkward way where it was irritating me a little bit, and that's why I stopped the that's why I started the recording of the previous recording. After that, inhaling a fly at this minute in time, right? Yeah, so after that I pissed about down the area where the mansion house is, which eventually goes to the next field and then eventually over across the road to Nine Springs. So it's like a public right of way. So I was there about 3 minutes, writing a few things down, then I decided that I'm not going to bother going down there for a walk. I'm just going to go to where Jack the Treacle Eater is. As I reapproached the road, there was a Tesco van timed, a CEF van, Seth, and Hardwell van, and Somerset County Council van, with about 10 cars. In the period where I was writing stuff down and letting the cars go past, there was only 2 cars in that 3 minute period roughly. Right, so I've not been on this road for over 45 minutes. There's not been a single car on this road for 45 minutes, and as I reach this road, that's occurring. Take into account there's been 45 minutes without a vehicle, and there's a blue car timed. I don't know how this is happening, but they got everybody's movement controlled around me. It's busy and hectic, and as troublemaking as they can possibly do it, whoever's causing it, whether it's the government or whether it's the creator God. Dog's saying something, going on. I just want to mention that a couple of weeks ago I bidded on a place to move to on Somerset County Council's Mutual Exchange Register, which is done on a bidding system, and the more priority you have to move, the more you're considered, and it's done by banding. So if you're on emergency, that's the highest, but not many people get that. If you're on gold, that's the highest you can get out of the normal bandings. Then you go down to silver, which means there's a small priority of needing to move. Bronze means no priority to move. Gold means that he's got to move on. Emergency is where they house someone if they're homeless or something serious has happened, like a house fire or flood or whatever. Right, so I bidded on a place next to my dad's going back. And I found out by the social worker when I spoke to her the other day that the reason I didn't get it, even though I was in the top of the banding on the bids, is because the council told the social worker that it went to someone who needs, basically someone who is in a wheelchair, so that's why I didn't get the place, because they give it to a person that's trying to move or whatever, but needs the access of a wheelchair, so obviously I didn't get that. However, I must admit, I've been first on many occasions, especially if we go this time last year on Home Finder, but I just get rejected, not prioritised, or someone else is being considered. And in some cases, it doesn't happen so much at the moment, but they take down a listing and then a few weeks later they will put it back on for people to bid on again. So what they do is they withdraw it. I don't know why they do that, but yeah, so just thought I'd mention that. Trying to work out what's being said over this music. Right, so the last period of time has just been a repeat of animal voice sounds coming out in that nasty way, of suggestions or wording, as I mentioned earlier. So apart from that, there hasn't really been much in the way of problems. Right, so they've got the loud bike issues, tying to itchy back end. Not very happy about it. Right, so on the road is obviously creeping up. As soon as I get into the town, it'll be very busy, because it's Friday evening, so there's likely to be threats. In actual fact, I might just leave this on record while walking back. It's undecided, depends how busy it looks.